For social media users joining us online and in the audience, please follow us at Nat Urban League on all platforms and take a moment to update your Facebook, Instagram, and X status using the hashtag NULCONF24. Don't forget to scan the barcode on the screen to download our 2024 NUL Conference app that will enhance your experience here this week. The app offers easy access to schedules, networking opportunities, and real-time updates. Also, please note that this event is being live streamed. Ladies and gentlemen, please have your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please have your seats. Our program is commencing. Welcome to the stage, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer for the National Urban League, Rhonda Spears Bell.
Good evening, good afternoon. Please take your seats if you can. I know you're excited. There's a lot of energy this week. Are you enjoying the National Urban League Conference? Are you enjoying the National Urban League Conference? Let me hear you. Are you still feeling energized after this morning's events? Listen, what an incredible start to our day, and we have so much more in store for you on day 5 of this year's conference. We're going to continue as others are coming in. If nothing else, we certainly received a clear charge at the presidential plenary today, didn't we? A charge about being fully informed and involved in the political process as citizens and as voters. And a key detail that should be front of mind for all of us right now is the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. We talked about it this morning and we've been talking about it this week, but we need to understand this Project 2025 seeks to create an authoritarian U.S. government expanding unchecked presidential power and dismantling civil rights. Oppose this threat to democracy. We want you to take action to oppose this threat to democracy by texting, "Is everybody ready?" and "Do you have your phones out?" And you can do it more than once. You can do this more than once. We want everyone to take your phones out right now. We want you to text, "Stop Project 2025, all one word, no spaces. Text, "Stop Project 2025, all one word, to 52886. I want you to do something right now. Will you please turn to your neighbor, neighbor, and say, let's do this now. Let's do this now. Press send and go ahead and send that text, and it will reach your congressional members, okay? And while you do, I will take the pleasure at this point to introduce our moderator for this very special luncheon. Please welcome to the stage Bobby Scott, President of the National Council of Urban League Guilds and the National League Trustee.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how
Good afternoon. I'm not feeling it. I need you to say that again. Good afternoon. Ah, that's much better. Thank you very much. I like to say to all the esteemed ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to welcome you to the Legacy Luncheon honored by the National Council, hosted by the National Council of Urban League Guilds. Today we gather in the vibrant heart of New Orleans, a city that embodies resilience and cultural richness as part of the National Urban League Annual Conference. We are privileged to have among us a constellation of distinguished speakers. In particular, I extend a special welcome to our luncheon speaker, Tennessee State Representative Justin R. J. Pearson of District 86. Representative Pearson, your presence here today exemplifies the spirit of young leadership and unwavering commitment to social justice that our organization strives to foster. And I must say, during the rehearsal, he had us fired up. We also extend a special welcome to the Honorable Adrianne Todman, Acting Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. And we want to recognize Mark H. Morial, the National Urban League's President and CEO, for his exceptional leadership and tireless efforts in advancing our mission. This luncheon is it's just more than a meal. It's a celebration of excellence. Today, we honor the remarkable achievements of our Guild chapters in leadership, fundraising, and community service across this nation. Your tireless efforts have not only improved lives, but have also strengthened the very fabric of our communities. Will all Guilders please stand? I stand here in awe of you, our dedicated Guilders, your unwavering service to your local affiliates, your passionate advocacy, your innovative fundraising, and your inspiring leadership has been the bedrock of our success. It is through your hands that we touch lives, through your voices that we speak truth to power, and through your heart that we nurture hope in our communities. As I preside over this luncheon for the final time, I am filled with immense gratitude. These past 3.5 years have been a journey of growth, challenges, and triumphs. Your support enabled us to navigate uncharted waters, pivoting to a virtual space without missing a beat in our mission. Together, we've proven that our commitment to empowerment knows no bounds, virtual or physical. Today, we break bread together. Let us break new ground. Let us elevate our involvement, amplify our advocacy for justice and equality, innovate in our fundraising efforts, deepen our community service, and strengthen our leadership. The path ahead demands nothing less than our full dedication. To our distinguished speakers, fellow Guilders, and honored guests, welcome. May this lunch serve not just as a celebration of our past achievements, but also a launching pad for future triumphs. Let the conversations we have today here be the connections we make, the commitments we renew, and to fuel our passion for change. As we embark on this afternoon of reflection and inspiration, remember, each one of us holds the power to share a more and just, equitable future. Let us make this event not just memorable, but transformative. Now, it is my pleasure to present to everyone Bishop Lester Love, pastor of the City of Love Church.
It was after the resurrection of Jesus that the disciples were walking with him, but they did not know who he was. They walked with him for about 7 miles and they did not know who he was until he did something. He took bread and he blessed it and he broke it and he gave it to them. After he took the bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it, then they recognized who he was. To those who are being honored today, God has taken you, many of you from obscure backgrounds, but then he blessed you. But every time God blesses us, he blesses us to be a blessing to someone else. But then he broke you. Anybody that has ever achieved anything in life has gone through a season of brokenness. But then after that, he gives you to those of us who are in need of what God has given to you. Today we celebrate those who are being honored today, that God took you, and then he blessed you, and he broke you, then he gave you. That's how we know that you're making an impact in this world. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for this incredible luncheon that has been designed to celebrate great leaders, dear Lord. I thank you for them now. We thank you, dear Lord, for the Urban League, and we thank you that you will continually bless them as we, dear Lord, defend democracy, as we, dear Lord, demand diversity, and as we defeat poverty. We give you praise for in advance all you're doing now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Bishop Love. At this time, please allow me to introduce to you 2 wonderful sponsors. Bina Elliott, Global Head of Advancing Black Pathways and Head of DEI Careers and Skills at JP Morgan Chase, and Rod West, Group President, Utility Operations at Entergy.
Real change for the Black community takes more than words. It takes belief in possibility and working together to turn that possibility into reality. Advancing Black Pathways is proud to be doing the work because this is personal.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know about you all, but this has been a rough last couple of weeks in U.S. politics. I don't know about you, but it feels like I'm watching a bad reality TV show. Am I the only one? It's been crazy. It's actually consumed all my conversations at the dinner table with my husband, FaceTime talks with my kids. We're just talking about politics. And it's the most prominent thread with my girlfriend's texts because we can't talk about anything else. We're consumed with everything that's going on, whether it's the violence or the change in our ticket. And don't get me wrong, I am super excited about the privilege and honor to be able to be part of history with the new candidate we have in Kamala Harris, who's at the top of our ticket as the first Black woman. But it's been unsettling and a lot of uncertainty. But the one thing that I have been anchored on is that the National Urban League is here, and they've served our community and been the voice of our community for over 100 years. So no matter who's in office, I know that the Urban League is going to lead us, going to be a voice for us, and make sure that the policies that we experience in our country are centered on our community. So can we just acknowledge the 100+ years of the Urban League doing this work for our community? So my entire corporate career as the head of the global head of Advancing Black Pathways, I've had the comfort and the consistency of knowing that the Urban League is working. So I just want to acknowledge all the excellent work that you all do every day in our communities, which are leadership. For over a century, the National Urban League has championed economic and social causes for our communities, regardless of, as I said, who's in office. The tireless effort of the National Urban League to strengthen the economic foundation of communities, provide educational opportunities, and make sure that every American is guaranteed their civil rights to continue to inspire us more than 100 years. So can we just say thank you to the Urban League? For the last 5 years, I've led and supported Advancing Black Pathways at J.P. Morgan Chase, which is meant to be and focus on the building of the economic foundation of our Black communities throughout the world. We focus on financial education, wealth building with home ownership and asset building, as well as making sure that you can on-ramp to great jobs and live well. Our partnership with NUL is critical to that work. And since 2015, we've invested in over $22.5, let me get that number right, $22.5 million in National Urban Leagues and affiliates since 2015. But more importantly than what we give in terms of dollars, it's our people that make the difference. We have leaders that serve on the National Urban League Board, Kyrie Barnes and Brian Lamb. We also have leaders across our footprint that serve and volunteer with the Urban League every day to make a difference. Can those that support the Urban League please stand up? Come on, don't make me call you out. We have 3 tables. I know it's more people than that. Thank you. They are the heart of what we do. The dollars make a difference, but our people in our communities really make the difference. They're the heartbeat of what we do as far as our company goes. Specifically in New Orleans, we've provided over $680,000 over the last 10 years to support housing, health initiatives, and small business programs with the National Urban League in Louisiana. Since joining Advancing Black Pathways, I've had the pleasure of working with Mark. I don't think Mark's out there right now, but Mark was one of the initial Advancing Black Pathway council members. And his leadership, his voice has made all the difference. We wouldn't be here as Advancing Black Pathways driving the outcomes we have in our communities without Mark's leadership. So thank you, Mark. Lastly, I believe that the best form of flattery is to show gratitude. So I just want to say thank you to all of the awardees that will be awarded and acknowledged today. But more importantly, there are people that names will not get called, but are in our communities every day making a difference. So can we just give everybody who volunteers, supports the Urban League across our countries, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rod West. I'm the Group President of the Entergy Corporation. You're right here in New Orleans, our hometown. You are in our backyard. Our corporate headquarters is literally the building next door. I was shocked to realize that you've actually been here for 5 days. Okay, this is not a welcome. I'm just going to say, what's up? It's good to see you. Listen, we do well when our communities do well. We serve in Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, and the city of New Orleans. Almost 40% of our residential customers live on a household income of less than $35,000 a year. A household income of less than $35,000 a year. We do well when our communities do well. We are a proud partner of the National Urban League because our missions are aligned. We have over $100 million a year economic impact in the areas we serve in just philanthropy alone. Our employees are here Volunteerism and advocacy is core to what we do at Entergy. My role here today is to simply to say thank you to the National Urban League, all of its affiliates, and the National Urban League guilds. Thanks for holding up your end of the bargain. As long as we're here, you can count on Entergy to continue to be a partner. Thank you very much. And again, welcome to New Orleans.
Thank you, Bina and Rod. The League appreciates all the steadfast support of J.T. Morgan Chase and Entergy. And now, to present this year's regional awards, the East Region Director, Barbara Redmond, the Central Region Director, Cynthia Robinson, the Southern Regional Director, Stephen Wright, and the Western Region Director, Ms. Carmela Smith. Please help me welcome them all now.
Good afternoon. The Eastern Region, the Whitney M. Young Excellent in Leadership Regional Chapter recipient is Carl Maddox, President of the Baltimore Urban League Guild.
Good afternoon. For the Central Region, the Whitney M. Young Jr. Excellence in Leadership Regional Chapter Award recipient is the Urban League Guild of Metropolitan St. Louis, Nikisha Joseph, Guild President, and Michael P. McWilliam, President and CEO.
Good afternoon. I'm Stephen Wright from the Southern Region. The Whitney M. Young Jr. Excellent in Leadership Regional Chapter Award recipient is Mr. Michael Holt, the Guild President of the Houston Chapter. Justin Robinson, the President and CEO, and also in Justin's stead, Mr. Eric Goody, the Senior Vice President.
Hello, everyone. For the Western region, the Whitney M. Young Jr. Excellence in Leadership Regional Chapter Award recipient is Colette Robinson, President, and President and CEO, Michelle Merriweather. For Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle Guild,
I would like to say congratulations to all our winning chapters. We must pause to recognize that the generosity of all our sponsors cannot be stated enough. Next up, I have the privilege of introducing to you Mr. Clint Odom, Vice President of Strategic Alliances and External Affairs at T-Mobile, and Dr. Lauren Young, Vice President and Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer with Travelers.
Good afternoon. It always feels good to be home, both here in Louisiana. I was born about 10 minutes away from here at Touro Infirmary, and in fellowship with all of you, my Urban League family. Mark, as always, thank you for your visionary leadership and your partnership. To our distinguished guests, speakers, honorees for today's luncheon, thank you for the ways that you continue to show up and show out in service of our people. At T-Mobile, we know the power of connectivity extends beyond our cutting-edge networks. It also includes dynamic organizations like the National Urban League that are focused on empowering people and championing issues that are most important to the communities we serve. This is especially true for the members of the National Council of Urban League Guild, who serve as a bedrock of volunteer service and stewardship to this organization and our collective movement. You all help equity in action a reality, and we're proud of our work together in building a better future for us all. You know that we see you, we feel you, and we appreciate your unwavering dedication to uplifting our communities. As this year's conference theme encourages, together we can defend democracy, demand diversity, and defeat poverty. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Lauren Young, Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for Travelers, and I'm delighted to join you all again this year at the National Urban League Conference. Travelers is proud to sponsor the Legacy Leadership Luncheon for the third year now, and our partnership with the Urban League is just one element of the way that we support our community externally and our employees internally. So I have talking points up here, but I rewrote a few things given the current climate, so please bear with me for a second. I know there's a lot of conversation right now about the state of DEI. There's a charge to undo the work that we've been doing for literal decades, and there's a lot of hate around us vocalizing the need for us to be seen and heard in various spaces. But I'm honestly not as concerned about the hate, because the opposite of hate is not love and support, it's indifference. Indifference is when you just stop caring enough to say something when you see someone being treated unfairly. When you think that your voice doesn't matter, and you get comfortable with the way things are, when you simply give up. We can't be indifferent. If you love yourself, your families, your friends, the people that you came to this conference with, you owe it to yourself and to them to keep the conversations and the work going. We all have power with our voices, whether you lead an employee resource group, or you want to give back to your community, or you're searching for an internship. I'm proud to say that Travelers makes these opportunities available while providing an amazing culture of diverse and dedicated professionals to help mentor, amplify, and support leaders like yourself. And there are a number of us here today willing to help you and support you in that. Say hey, y'all. In 2023, Travelers directed more than $24 million in community support and over $230 million in the last decade. This demonstrates our commitment to creating a culture of care for each other, and we continue to reflect this in our support of organizations such as the National Urban League. Let's keep the momentum going. Congratulations to all of the honorees, and enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you, Clint Odom and Dr. Young. We appreciate T-Mobile and Travelers for being in the National Urban League. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will continue with our program. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the President and CEO of the National Urban League, Mark H. Morial.
And thank you to Bobby Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout this conversation, since we've been here in New Orleans, we've heard about the term DE&I. And we know it means diversity, equity, and inclusion. But I also think it means determined and educated and intelligent, impactful, inspirational, incomparable, and with integrity. So we are not going to let anyone twist a good value into something that is negative, because we know that so many who, because doors have been opened for them, have walked through it, have been determined, have been educated, have been intelligent, and acted with impact, inspiration, and with incomparable integrity. Give it up for DE&I. I want to thank all the volunteers in this Legacy Leadership Luncheon, brought to you by our guild chapters all across the nation, who, since their founding in 1942, have been meaningful and impactful in supporting the Urban League movement, both at the national and affiliate level. Their commitment to excellence in leadership in order to make real differences in the communities they serve deserves yet another applause for the Guild, for Guild chapters, for Guild members, for Guild history. Put your hands together. The Civil Rights Movement spawned actions by then President Johnson to assemble a task force that developed what came to be known as the Great Society programs. Part of that task force and part of the Great Society was the creation of a new federal department known as the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And it was designed to help address the then housing crisis of the 1960s, redlining, slum conditions, slum landlords, and a growing population and an acute need for housing. Over the years, the National Urban League has relied on a partnership with this agency to support so much of our work, including housing counseling, including the enforcement of fair housing laws. It is therefore a special honor to have with us today the Acting Secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, a longtime friend of the National Urban League, who just told me she's got a special announcement today. So ladies and gentlemen, please greet with a warm round of applause the Honorable Adrianne Todman.
Well, good afternoon, Urban League. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Excellent. I want to thank Mark, who is a good friend, for his extraordinary leadership, for his fearlessness, and most importantly, for his pure audacity to be Mark Morial. Thank you, Mark, for what you do. And it's an honor to be with all of you here today, and not just because we have some collective work to do, but because we have already together put in place powerful partnerships to support the dreams and the potential of generation of Americans, both who've moved beyond us and who we will help in the future. We have a shared legacy of improving the state of Black Americans, driving generational wealth, and providing support to build on the strength of our communities. We believe in bettering and growing our communities, and our partnership is proof that good can happen. For too long, Black and brown folk have been left out of life-changing investments. We need only to look at what Mark just mentioned in terms of the history of this government-sanctioned redlining that deprived African Americans equal access to homeownership opportunities decades ago, and that lack of access is still driving the wealth gap that we're experiencing today. But I'm here to tell you, but that chapter is not the end of our story. Not like with leaders like Mark on watch. Not like leaders with Lisa Rice, who I saw here, a good friend who's fighting the good fight on fair housing on watch. Not without leaders like Justin Pearson. I met this young brother backstage just now, and I can't wait for him to fire us up. I know that the future is in good hands, not on his watch. Certainly not on President Biden's watch. And let me tell you, not on the watch of our Vice President Kamala Harris. Over the past 4 years, the Biden-Harris administration has worked to write a new chapter, a chapter that is notable for its inclusion, not its exclusion. You know, I've served as deputy at the department since the start of the administration in 2021, and I'm so proud to call former Secretary Fudge my boss. Let's hear it for her wonderful leadership and stewardship. And this administration, from day one, we have centered equity. From day one, we have centered the needs of Black Americans across the country. And it began in the most humble of ways, where we tried so hard and succeeded to keep Black folk in their home when they needed help during the pandemic. And for many of you who are housing counselors out there, you know that our little term of art called loss mitigation made all the difference in the world for people who needed to hold on to their homes. And so we did not see the repeat that happened in 2008, 2009, 2020 of Black homeowners losing their homes. We did that together. We also provided support for renters who needed it during their darkest times. We deployed $50 billion across the country to help folks stay in their apartments. We're helping governors and mayors and other community leaders help our homeless brothers and sisters, our grandparents, our children, our uncles, our nieces and nephews who are sleeping on the streets. We are helping our leaders every day to make sure that we are giving them homes that they so richly deserve. HUD has provided millions of dollars to HBCUs to study and research ways we can improve the housing condition of Black folk and other people of color. In fact, the administration has provided $16 billion to HBCUs across the country. We're fighting appraisal bias. Look, we should not, in 2024, have to take down pictures of our grandparents, take down pictures of our parents because the appraisers are coming. And we want to make sure we're getting a fair shot and people aren't lowballing us. And when our president and our vice president heard that this was a big issue and we had the research behind it, they said, that's not right. And so they charged HUD and the Domestic Policy Council to come together with an agenda that has been productive over the past 2 years, not just empowering homeowners about what their rights are, but also making sure that there is a path that if people feel that they are being cheated, that they have a way to ask for a do-over on their appraisal, because we're about building generational wealth, not devaluing that wealth. And we're also taking on some of the bad actors, but what we're also doing is making sure that an industry that is less than 1% Black, let me say that again. The appraisal industry is less than 1% Black, making sure that they're looking more like America with a special settlement that we had with them just last week. Look, we're trying to make sure that we are investing millions of dollars in housing counseling, and I have to applaud you, Urban League. You all are truly our partners in this work. When I go across the country and I say to folks, we have an army of housing counselors, so much of that army is the work that you all are doing. So thank you, and I applaud you for the counseling work that you do every single day. Just last year, as interest rates began to go up, our vice president announced a reduction in our FHA fees so that people, particularly first-time homeowners, had an opportunity to get their first home. We also made sure that we were using common sense in helping people build generational wealth through home ownership by doing something as simple as looking at positive rental payments as a way to prove creditworthiness. Things like this, common sense things, aspirational things, are what the Biden-Harris administration has been about. And even though we have been on a roller coaster ride in our homeownership ecosystem, we have helped 250,000 Black families buy their homes just in the past couple years. And I'm proud to say that the homeownership gap between Black and white families has been reduced by 13%. Look, I know that more people need our help. We see that all the time. I know you all are witnesses to this in your communities, and that's why the President and our Vice President has been so laser focused on bringing down housing costs. Our plan calls to build 2 million new units across the country so people can rent and buy. We're helping people pay their rent. We're trying to make sure that our seniors who are on limited incomes are able to stay in their homes and live with dignity. We are focused on more down payment assistance, particularly for first-generation homeowners. These are people who never had grandparents or parents to help steward them through the homeownership process. And we're focused on helping our first-generation homeowners meet the American dream. And just last week, I awarded over $300 million to cities and towns across the country to build new housing in this country. And I'm very happy to announce, because I know that doing right is a team sport, I'm happy to announce the approval of $3 million in HUD funds to go to the Urban League Empowerment Center. By using underutilized land and bringing into your presence a new working environment, a museum, get your work done, because HUD and our mission, we are nothing if you all are not successful. So I'm very pleased to be able to make that announcement today. I look forward to coming to the ribbon cutting. I want anybody from Columbus, the Columbus Urban League, my Columbus folks in the house, over here in the corner. You know, part of what we do is make sure we're helping the people. And one of the things that I know that you all have done recently is make sure you're bringing hope to folks who are walking through your doors. My team told me about a gentleman, I think his name is Mr. Amadi, who was very skeptical about the homeownership process. But you all were able on day one to sit him down, teach him, take some of those fears away, and most importantly, give him the confidence he needed in himself to buy his first home, which is exactly what he did. Thank you, Columbus, for helping us along the way. And that's what we do together, because as Mark said, our partnership is rich and long, and it will be continued. But we have to work with urgency. We have to work with intentionality. We have to remember that there are people outside these doors who want us to go backwards. But I know we're not going backwards, are we? We are going forward, aren't we? Because we have a leadership team that is prepared for what this future needs. And I want to thank our president, but I want to thank our Vice President Harris for the extraordinary work that she is doing. And we look forward to a continued service and partnership with you. Thank you, Urban League.
Adrianne Todman, Secretary of HUD, thank you for that $3 million announcement. Tim Murphy, that's for the Urban League Empowerment Center. Give it up for Adrianne Todman. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for those great words. And now, we have a special message from Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, who couldn't be with us, please turn your attention to the video screens.
Hello, I'm U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, and I appreciate the chance to share a brief word. I want to thank the Urban League for your focused and effective advocacy, and reflect on how we are transforming transportation and infrastructure from something that at times has perpetuated inequities to an engine of equitable opportunity. Transportation has always been one of the most significant battlegrounds for racial and economic justice and civil rights, because disparities in access to transportation impact everything else in life. By confronting those inequities in our time, we have acted to ensure that the balance of this century will be marked by fairer access to transportation and to the economic opportunities that come with building it for the future. That simple principle, fairness, is guiding the Biden-Harris administration as we navigate the biggest infrastructure investments in 70 years. As we work to reconnect Black neighborhoods that were cut in half by interstate highways. As we work to ensure more Black-owned businesses can compete for federal projects. And as we make our transportation more accessible, resilient, affordable, and equitable for generations to come. I am proud of our progress, yet there is so much more to do. And partners and advocates like those here today will drive our shared work, building the better, fairer country that we know we can be. Thank you for all that you do, and I look forward to what we will continue to deliver together.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my...
I think you can join me and say that is such an inspirational message from Secretary Buttigieg. Please allow me to introduce another one of our generous sponsors, Aaron Chubb, Vice President of Gas Field Operations at National Grid. And now it is my honor to introduce to all of you another generous sponsor, Chandra Vassar, Nissan Group of the Chandra Vassar, Nissan Group of the Americas, Vice President and Chief DEI Officer of the Nissan Foundation. Please welcome them to the podium.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is important because it means that people accept me the way I am.
It means that you appreciate me, I have value, my opinions matter, my presence, my contributions, my thoughts, they all matter. And inclusion is telling me that.
We all come from different backgrounds, and we're also going into different backgrounds and different settings of people. You can't just have one-track mind on something. You have to have an open mind to approach a situation from a different angle.
The areas that make you different, the areas that make you unique are your gifts. They are the part of the puzzle that you add to the collective.
I'm Khalid.
I'm Adrianne, and this is me.
And this is me.
This is me.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you once again to the National Urban League. So I guess, by the themes that we've heard throughout, not just today, but throughout the week, DE&I, opportunities, investing in our communities at National Grid, that's what we strive to do. One of our missions is delivering a clean, fair, and affordable energy future. And how do we do that? It's human capital. And for the communities in need that we're talking about, National Urban League is definitely going to help us with that, and we are proud to be their partner in this mission. And as we do that for these communities in need, one of the things that we do need to do is ensure diversity and inclusion for these folks. So when we look at young people to get into the energy sector to deliver this clean energy future, we definitely need the skills, the knowledge, and that partnership, again, as we talked about with National Grid and the Urban League. So again, we have a lot of work to do. As we could say, I'm proud that the National Urban League has put us into the conversation, but as us as a company, we're based in the Northeast in New York and Mass, so I want to thank Rod for giving us a pass here into Louisiana today. So with that, I want to thank all of today's honorees who have showed tremendous leadership for their passion in the communities in need, as well as striving for greatness. And I would leave you all with a question. Can we embrace the future. I know it's very transformative. We have elections coming up and everything else, but as an energy company, the future is bright, and we need to stay ahead of that. So if we can embrace that, I think we'll achieve the clean, sustainable future for all. Thank you. Have a great lunch.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here today on behalf of Nissan Americas. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Mark Morial and his team at the National Urban League for hosting this amazing conference and this wonderful lunch. I must also acknowledge their continuous outstanding work and dedication to advancing economic improvement, equality, and justice, which has transformed countless lives and strengthened our communities. At Nissan, we're committed to creating a culture where everyone belongs and where our employees, customers, and partners feel respected, valued, and heard. It's why Nissan is a proud supporter of the National Urban League. While other companies are turning away from DEI, at Nissan, it is a pillar that informs our work. This commitment is the foundation for DEI work across our organization, from our governance structure, driving accountability from the top, to our supplier diversity programs, which expand our supply chain and support minority-owned and operated businesses. As our company's first Vice President and Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, I can assure you that DEI remains a vital part of Nissan's future, and we will continue our work to disrupt inequitable systems in the communities where we all live and work. And with the support of partners like the National Urban League, together, we can take great strides in the pursuit of equity for all. Thank you, congratulations to today's honorees, and Nissan for everyone.
Aaron and Chandra, thank you sincerely for the support of National Grid and Nissan. We appreciate you. At this time, are you ready for our featured speaker? All the way from the Tennessee House of Representatives, I have the pleasure of introducing Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson. Now, Representative Pearson is the second youngest member of the Tennessee General Assembly. In 2023, at the age of 28, state GOP members expelled him from office because he stood up and protested gun violence on the House floor as a member of the famed Tennessee Three. Now, he stood up in the aftermath of a tragic school mass shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. His stirring speech during his expulsion trial was broadcasted worldwide. But God does not like ugly. And he won back his seat in a special election 3 months later with, get this, 94% of the vote. Now, you've seen him on CBS, ABC, NBC, NBC, CNN, NPR, the Washington Post, and the New York Times, and Rolling Stones. And all of that is important. But today, he's appearing at the National Urban League. After he speaks, I want you to be patient because we have 2 awards to give out, the Molly Moon Award and the Whitney M. Young Chapter of the Year Award. But ladies and gentlemen, a freedom fighter, a public servant, someone who stood up for social justice, a true fighter. Let's give a National Urban League welcome to Representative Justin J. Pearson of Tennessee.
Y'all look beautiful. I'm so happy to be here in New Orleans with all these beautiful black people. I don't know what to do. This here is just what America looked like. Black, beautiful, educated, and all the rest. So I'm going to go ahead on and be at home because we here. And every rally that we do, we start one particular way in District 86. I say, who fired up? And the crowd respond, we fired up. You ready? Who fired up? Who fired up? Who fired up? Yeah, we fired up. We fired up because we've got to be fired up for such a time as this. We've got to be fired up to fight for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and DEI candidates. We've got to be fired up because of Project 2025, white supremacy and racism continuing to be on the prowl. We've got to be fired up against domestic terrorism and capitalistic exploitation. Y'all, we've got to be fired up. It's time to be fired up when they're trying to silence our voices, refusing to acknowledge the beauty of our brilliance. You even got racist Ron and governors talking about black history has no value. We've got to be fired up. Fired up because we need to make real the words written into the founding documents of this nation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We've got to be fired up. And this is our moment. This is our time. This is our opportunity to be fired up for the movement for justice rooted in love. Let me get through some thank yous. Y'all got me so excited so soon. My time halfway out. I'm the son of a preacher and teacher, but I can't hold you long because this is a whole production. And it won't be a hook that come and get me. It's going to be a team of about 10 black women running this thing. And so I'm going to do my thank yous. I'm going to say a few words. Then I'm going to go back to where they tell me to be. But to the amazing president of this organization, to President Mark, thank you for your kind introduction, but also for your extraordinary leadership of this organization. To the amazing staff here at the Hyatt, please give a round of applause to everybody who's bringing out food, everybody who's making this work. Now somebody stand up and thank the people who making this work and making this place beautiful, and who washing the plates and cooking the food, and who decorated the flowers that you smelling and looking at. Somebody else tell your neighbor who's sitting down to get up, because if it weren't for working class people and people of the labor movement, there would be no people in this room. So get everybody up and give a round of applause to the folk who made this pretty place that we all celebrating and enjoying possible. Thank you all so very much. Sometimes it's a shame. People put on real expensive clothes and forget how far God done brought them. To a leader of our community, Mr. Roland Martin, who is here, helped raise over $1 million for Vice President Harris. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To the black women, I know a lot of y'all were on that call. Thank y'all for making that happen. To the Memphis Urban League and my Tennessee folks, President Gail Carson and everyone, thank you for what you do. To one of my dearest friends, Danica White, who journeyed up from Memphis, took the 6-hour drive. Thank you for being here. To my family who will watch this later, but it's a lot of them, so they couldn't make it. Y'all ain't got enough tables. And to the love of my life, the apple of my eye, the black in my black coffee. The best thing that happened to me since God said, let there be light. Ocean A. R. Gilliam, I love you, I thank you, I appreciate you, and thank you for being here with me. Y'all, we are living in a time of immense importance and an immense American paradox. Black women who for too long have been neglected and rejected. Black women who've been written out of history books and deprived of opportunities that they are due has become too commonplace in our country. Black women who have built this democracy, ensured its survival time after time again, have not been given their due. And now it is time. And it is our responsibility to ensure that a black woman holds the highest position in the land come November. Yet, this is a nonpartisan event. Get that out of the way. I got to give cover to Mark and the rest of y'all. I'm a partisan person, but this is a nonpartisan event. Too many names of black women for too long have been underthanked and underrecognized. You know, Mary Church Terrell, Sojourner Truth, Fannie Lou Hamer, Mammy Teal, Merle Evers, Christine Williams King, Emma Berdice Jones, Louise Little, Coretta Scott King, Mary Jane Patterson, Dorothy Hyde, Ida B. Wells Barnett. Too many black women have been underthanked and underappreciated, but y'all, it's going to be on the wings of those angels that everybody is going to learn a name. Everybody's going to learn a name who's going to carry them to a very high place. They're going to learn how to pronounce Kamala. They're going to learn how to pronounce it. Kamala. It's Kamala. Kamala. You're going to learn how to do it. We got unique names. They used to make fun of us because of how we named our children, but now you're going to learn a new name called Kamala, and you're going to put Vice President now and President soon. Because she's carrying black women to the place and position they should have been. This is a moment of importance and paradox because we've got to say another name, Sonia Massey, who should be alive today. We've got to say her name. We speak a lot when black men get killed. We all know George Floyd. We all know Trayvon Martin. We know my beloved, seemingly God brother now, Tyree Nichols, but we need to learn to make sure we're saying black women's names because we have a responsibility to protect black women, to defend black women, to fight for black women how black women fight for us. Why do I start my talk talking about black women? Because our country only exists because of black women. They raised black children, had black children stolen from them too, raised white children, and still went home after suffering under the brutality of systems of injustice and raised children to believe that they were somebody. Ain't no black man standing up here without black women. And it's about time we all get on board for clapping and stomping and shouting and thanking God for black women. Matter of fact, let's take 30 seconds of my speech to thank black women. Thank you. If it's a black or a white man sitting down next to you, raise your hand. Everybody need to stand up and thank black women for all of the marching, for all of the fighting, for all of that they have given in order to build this country. You need to stand up and thank black women. And if somebody ain't clapping loud enough, black women, clap harder for yourself. My grandmother were two black women who were killed due to pollution from oil and gas and petrochemical companies like Valero and Exxon and Shell, which surrounded Westwood in District 86, which I now represent. These same companies are polluting the communities of Louisiana and what has been termed Cancer Alley. The same stretches of land that were once plantations now have plants on them in Louisiana. So while we come to celebrate and have fun and all those good things, let us hold true to the reality of black experience. A black child is 10 times more likely to die from an asthma attack than a white child. Black women's mortality rate is 3 times higher than white women's mortality rate, and the environment has something to do with it. So I love people coming here and celebrating blackness. But make sure that our communities are being supported and are not continuously being sacrificed. I'm almost out of time, so I'm going to move forward with what I got to say here. My grandmama Pearson passed away when I was 12. In her house, she had this picture. You all might be familiar with it. The picture is of a very strong man reaching down, and there's an arm seemingly about to be pulled up, and there's a wall in between them. And at the bottom, it reads, "He ain't heavy." My grandmama's been gone a while now. I hadn't thought about that image for a while now, but when I got this opportunity, God sent it to me. And I believe that there's an important lesson for us to be learned in this wonderful image. We have a responsibility to lift some folk up. We have an opportunity to lift some folk up while simultaneously knocking the wall that's separating us down. And there is no level of education, there is no position or pedigree that can stop us from that responsibility of saying, you know what, she ain't heavy, I can lift her. He ain't heavy, they ain't heavy, I can lift them. Because I believe that when we do the opposite, we commit social death to ourselves. And in this moment in time, we need to adopt a mindset that they ain't heavy. Because if we adopt the tools of the oppressors, we ensure our own oppression, or as more aptly said by that black queer scholar and prophet Audre Lorde, the master's tools will not dismantle the master's house. And we have to realize that the people in our neighborhoods and families and communities, they ain't heavy. They just need some picking up, some lifting up, some loving, some caring, some tending. And it will be a shame on us if we take these college degrees and our education and our pedigrees and we don't go back to the places that they said we needed to get out of and help to heal them and help to serve them. And if we take their direction, we'll end up calling ourselves super predators. If we take the direction of a status quo that incarcerates us, we'll end up incarcerating and locking up our own. We have to have a love ethic rooted in justice. Second, we need unity, not conformity. This is a time, National Urban League and all of my dear friends, for us to be united. Not to be the same. Some of y'all ain't gonna like this speech, that's fine. I wouldn't like your speech, also fine. But I love you enough to realize that we have shared interest. And our shared interest supersedes how I feel about you, because we realize what is at stake in this moment in time, and our unity is our only hope. Our unity is our only hope. It means celebrating one another's differences without allowing ourselves to become divisionists. Our unity means lifting up the diversity of our opinions and our ideas and our ideals, not just going along to get along. Our unity means resisting evil in every form that it takes, in every level of government, whether we're state representatives, city councilors, county commissioners, U.S. senators, presidents of the United States. We have to ensure that we resist evil in every form that it takes. As a white supremacist, domestic terrorist, felon who's running for president of the United States, well, that's the evil that it takes. That's the form that it takes. We must resist it. Our unity must mean lifting up all voices to be heard, recognized as equals, no matter people's positions and roles. Our unity means there is room enough for everybody in a movement for justice, rooted in love. We need unity, not conformity. And lastly, somebody say we must reclaim our rightful place. A lot of things happened in the year 1776. July 4th is a big day for us in this country. It was the day that the Declaration of Independence was signed. The Constitution was another really important document that was signed a few years later after America gained its independence. And I celebrate Juneteenth and July 4th because it was in 1770 that a black man by the name of Crispus Attucks was killed for America's freedom. Y'all, this is our country. That's why I always wear my flag. We have to reclaim our rightful place in this constitutional democratic republic experiment, because they wrote some words down. And when they wrote them, they called us 3/5 of a person. They wrote the words down, and many of them at that time were enslaving folk. They wrote these words down saying this don't apply to them, but they're such powerful words. We, the people. It's my favorite 3 words in the whole Constitution. I ain't got my pocket Constitution, I'll show it to you. My favorite 3 words, Madam Secretary. We, the people. You know why I love it? It sounds so black. It's the blackest sound. We, the people. We, the people. We, the people. Let's try. We, the people who will fight for justice. We the people who will fight for equality. We the people who will make sure opportunity and justice are on the ballot. We who will make sure that women's right to choose is on the ballot. We who will fight for equality, knowing that nobody is free until everybody is free. We who believe in liberty and justice for all. We who will fight for women's rights and civil rights. We who know we have to fight for our LGBTQIA plus siblings, because the discrimination against them is discrimination against all of us. We who go stand up for freedom. We who go stand up for righteousness. We the people who are unbound. We are the people who are unbent. We are the people who are unbroken. We are the people who will save this democracy. We who will never quit. We who America needs. We who the world's been waiting on. We the people. 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 God bless you. I love you.
Okay. I'd say is, wow. And I had to come after that. No. I nervously gave you all a hint that it was going to be pretty rousingly because I had a taste of that during rehearsal, but I didn't know it was going to be over the top like that. All I can say is I feel good now. We're in good hands. What an incredibly inspiring message. I want to thank Representative Pearson for those powerful, powerful words. We appreciate all you have done and continue to do in pursuit of fair and equal representation for us all. Now, we have 2 awards that we're about to present, and I'm going to ask someone up to the stage to assist me on these last 2 awards. It's 2 things that we need to do, and that is for the Molly Moon and for the Whitney M. Young Chapter of the Year Award. And I'm going to ask my Vice President, Ms. Angela R. Simmons-Smith, to come to the stage for me, please. I purposely did this here because twofold. There is a transition of power here. This is my last year, but I feel very, 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 very good about my predecessor. And before we do the Molly Moon Award, I just want to introduce you all to our incoming president, Ms. Angela R. Simmons-Smith. Now, this Molly Moon Award that we're about to give, it's my honor to present the 2024 Molly Moon Volunteer Service Award. This award celebrates the legacy of the National Urban League Guild founder and president, Molly Moon, whose spirit of generosity and philanthropy and community vision remains timeless. This year's Molly Moon Volunteer Service Award goes to our Eastern Regional Director, who is out of the Greater Baltimore Urban League affiliate, Miss Barbara Redmond.
To President Muriel, to President Scott, to my Urban League family, good afternoon. I thank you for this award. I love the Urban League Guild. If you were a member of the Guild, you have to show love to your community. And as we show love to our community through the programs and activities that we bring to them, they will always remember how we made them feel. Not so much of what we did, but how we made them feel. So we as Urban League Guilders must always show love to our community. Thank you very much.
At this time, I would like to present the final award of the evening for the 2024 Whitney M. Young Chapter of the Year Award. Earlier this afternoon, we presented 4 regional awards. And one of those 4 chapters that we presented to you all will be the Chapter of the Year. And at this time, and I think they might be a little surprised, this year's award goes to the Greater Baltimore Urban League Guild, Miss Carlos Maddox.
I am truly shocked. I'm sitting there just drinking my tea and they announce it like, okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to the Urban League, Mark Morial, National Urban League, Bobby Scott, Angela Simmons-Smith. I'm just grateful for this award. To me, serving the community is my passion. Whatever you do, you have to do it with passion. You have to care about the community. You got to have passion. You have to love the people. And that's all we want to do. We want to be the hands and feet of our affiliate and the hands and feet of the Urban League. We want to serve our community, and that's basically all that we want to do. And I just want to say thank you for this award. I'm very grateful. Thank you for this honor, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
I would like to take a look, point of privilege right now. For all guilders, do a time check. Within 10 minutes, once we adjourn here, 10 minutes, please meet at the spiral staircase right in front of the Empire Ballroom. That is where we're going to take our annual picture. 10 minutes from now. Okay? I would like to say congratulations to all our well-deserved winners. What a tremendous afternoon. And let's give another round of applause for all the award winners. It's one more person I would like to give. I would like for our chairman of the board for the National Urban League to stand, please. Okay. I want to say, when I first came to the board, when I first came to my first trustee meeting, he went out of his way to make sure I felt very, very welcome. I want to say thank you very much for that, and I look forward to using my MasterCard everywhere. Thank you very much. Thank you once again to all our sponsors, presenters, and to every one of you for coming out today. Yesterday we celebrated, and today we're going to be organizing. Connect with us online, download the mobile app, visit nulconference.org. Enjoy the rest of your time here at the NUL conference. We are now adjourned. Thank you very much.